up, everyone? This is Nate, and I am back with another Out of the Theater review. This one is going to be for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, the latest in the Mission Impossible series. I think this is the 7th film in the franchise, and I just got out of the theater, just got home from checking it out, so I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts. Of course, this review will be spoiler-free, but before I get into it, please, if you could go ahead and drop a like on this video, just click the little thumbs up, it definitely helps the video, and leave a comment below. Did you enjoy this movie? Did you not enjoy this movie? Do you agree? Do you not agree? Let me know down below, and of course, if you would consider subscribing to the channel, that way, every time we put out these videos and do our live shows, you can get notified and join us for the fun. So let me start by saying I love this franchise. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I have seen, starting from 3 to now, all of those in the theater. So every time a new one comes out, I'm going. And this is one of those rare franchises where it seems like each one, if not better than the one before, is like as good as the one before. Like they're not getting worse by any stretch. Like they're either steady or slightly better. And again, one of those franchises where, depending on who you ask, I feel like a lot of people have a different favorite, but they're all really good except maybe part 2. That being said, I was excited for this one. I love Tom Cruise. I think he's the last of the movie stars is what I always call him. He's that just big A-list star. And, you know, he puts his life and limb on the line to make these movies, doing the stunts and everything. Everyone knows that. So how is it? Well, I thought it was fantastic. It's rare that I go into a movie that I'm super excited for. I shouldn't say rare, but it doesn't happen that often where I go in super excited and then the movie meets or exceeds. It usually either be a little disappointed or, you know, sometimes it'll meet. This is a case where it definitely met. First of all, the positives. I do have some negatives, but I'll start with the positives always. Tom Cruise is awesome in this, obviously as Ethan Hunt. It doesn't need to be said anything else. He does great in all the action scenes. He does great with the performance. Love him. As far as the rest of the cast, Simon Pegg is back. Ving Rhames is back. Rebecca Ferguson, who I love in this franchise. I think she's great, and she's great again here, especially like the way her character does her fighting and stunts. I just think it looks so cool. She's really slick and slippery, and she's awesome. And then, of course, you have some new additions. You have Haley Atwell as like a big main character in this, and her performance is actually really good as well. She doesn't do a ton of movies outside of Captain America. I don't remember the last like big movie I saw her in where she had a big role, so it was kind of cool to see her in another big movie, and I thought she performed really well. The action scenes, obviously, that's the thing. That's what everybody, you know, wants to know about, and they don't disappoint. They are really good. There is a chase scene in Rome that is a lot of fun. There's one scene in there that's kind of funny. It's played for humor, but also it fits with the rest of the scene because it's kind of like, it adds a little break in between a lot of like really serious action that's going on. So I thought that was pretty fun, but the action is so well executed. Christopher McQuarrie, I mean, this guy's shooting this stuff like nobody else. He's putting cameras on the vehicles. There's a part where Tom Cruise is driving a motorcycle and you could clearly see that they strapped a camera like onto it. And so you get that view of it's him driving. It's not a stunt driver. And the way the camera's moving, it's awesome. And yeah, the chase scene is fantastic. You also get some hand-to-hand fighting, and that the hand-to-hand action is also really good. And then, of course, you have this kind of big finale with a train. And I won't go into spoilers on it, but let me just tell you, it did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And it gets progressively more intense. But I loved it. I totally loved it. I was like, this is so good. I wasn't really expecting this to happen. And it kept going and upping and upping. And I thought it was fantastic. So I thought the action and the stunt work and all that is great. As far as the story goes, I really enjoyed it. This is probably it's almost 3 hours, but it does not feel like it. And this is probably the first time in recent, like last 2 or 3 months where these like super long movies, this one, to me, it did not feel long. It flew by. I could have sat there and watched for another hour, honestly, if it would have kept going. The pacing is really good, really strong. doesn't just stay and waste time with anything. So I love that. The storyline's very good. You know, it doesn't have a traditional like villain character. I mean, there is a human villain character, but this one really surrounds like AI. And I think that is very relevant if you really think about it. Today's world, you know, everything is about AI and technology. And so it's kind of natural that this series would go in that direction. So I won't spoil it, but I found it interesting. I could see some people maybe not totally loving that. I thought it was cool. Lots of movies have done this before, and they're great movies as well. So I thought it was cool, very interesting, very different take, and very modern. As far as my negatives, I have three. One, and they're minor. They are minor. One of them, Haley Atwell's character, as good as she is in the performance, her character makes some decisions in this movie that really were just starting to like bug me. And I'm not going to hold it against like the whole movie. Like it didn't ruin it for me, but I was just like, man, if she just didn't do X and did Y, this wouldn't happen. And it happens a few times now. At least one thing I like about this movie is that they acknowledge that. So her character at least acknowledges it, but even still, it was a little annoying. Two, there is these two characters. There's these two cop characters. Shea Wiggum is one of them, and I don't know the actor who plays the other one. They're constantly like chasing after Ethan Hunt throughout the whole movie, and it just felt tacked on. Like I don't think they needed to be there. They don't hurt. Again, they don't hurt the film, but also they don't add much to it, in my opinion. Like I could have done without them, and the movie still would have been just as great. And number three, I guess number three would kind of be a spoiler, so I won't go into it. But there was something that involves the masks, which this franchise is famous for. And there's something that about one of the characters who wears a mask that I noticed right away, and you would think all these people would notice, and no one does, and it kind of bugged me. And that's all I'll say. That being said, those are minor nitpicks. This movie's fantastic. I had a blast. I absolutely loved it. I think it's the best action movie of the summer. You know, Into the Spider-Verse is great. I don't consider it a pure action film. Like it's an animated film with a comic book. It's different. This is like a straight up action spy movie. And it's the best one of the summer, in my opinion. It has fantastic set pieces, a very interesting story, great music. It's just big and loud and fun, but not dumb. It's not dumb. So that's a plus for me. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely thought it was fantastic. It's not a 10 because those little gripes did bring it down just a bit, but I thought it was fantastic, and I cannot wait for part 2. I'm very excited for it. So can't wait to see that. Yeah, so let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of this movie? And of course, I will be back next week with another Out of the Theater review. I will actually be reviewing Barbie, so you'll get my take on this Barbie movie that's coming out, and we'll see how it goes. Until then, take it easy.